Parker McCollum.
There he is, Parker McCollum. Hey,
thank you guys.
How tall are you?
6'3".
You're a giant. Are you growing? Are you still at the age young enough where you're still growing?
I'm a growing boy.
You're
Are you at that age where you're still growing?
I
think
know.
you're still
Could
growing
be.
at like
Like 19.
Look how
Yeah.
youthful he looks still. And every time I see him, I feel like he's taller. When you put boots on, 6'5".
It definitely goes from 6'3" to a higher number. I don't know what exactly, but
I was talking to Parker at the ACMs, and it's that time in commercials where everybody stands up. And so, like, I really like Parker, and I know Parker, so I don't feel the need to have to go up and spend 10 minutes with him in the middle of an award show. It's that, because we
yes.
And so it's real quick. It's like, hey, and he hugs me, but he hugs down on me.
What do you mean by down?
He's
Oh, because he's so
Yeah.
tall.
I was looking for more than a hug.
Okay, well, that's what it sounded like.
He lifted me up and let my legs dangle.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah, he hugged down on me. He's a big old boy.
Well, but Bobby, you're 6.
One.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's in boots, he's 6. What is it? 5?
Yeah, probably close to it. 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
Should I show you my ID? It says 6'1" on it. Thoughts?
I believe you.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
Don't believe him.
Why are you hating right now?
Well, because we know that you're not exactly.
That's my friend. Why are you doing that to my friend? Hey, Parker, what is the song of yours that fans scream the loudest?
Like a Cowboy, Stoned, probably Handle on You.
You did 3 songs.
I was going through the ones that they
Got
really
it.
like.
Got it. So Handle on You to scream the
I
loudest?
would think so.
Now you're saying you don't think so? Or you
No,
didn't?
I would
Oh, yeah.
think so. That's probably the one, I think.
Does it move in stages, meaning in a year from now or a year prior it was a different song?
It kind of does. I think like Pretty Heart, even like 2 or 3 years after Pretty Heart came out, that was still like the really big one, which we've had songs that weren't singles that were never on the radio that feel like they were number ones on at the show. But I think Handle on You is the one that gets the biggest reaction.
If you were allowed to steal one song from another artist's catalog and now you wrote it, but you didn't, but you now you wrote it in a different timeline, what would that song be?
Any artist, any song?
Yeah, any song. But now Parker McCollum, the world knows you as writing that song.
Golly, that'd be a long list. Probably Nobody in Their Right Mind, George Strait.
Oh,
It's a jam.
Going mid. I won't say deep cut, but mid cut on George Strait.
it's a good one.
Yeah, but so the writer though probably wasn't George, right?
No, I think Dean wrote that.
Yeah. You are I say this, you're a great writer.
Thank you.
Do you ever write a lyric and maybe it's like, what lyric have you written and you're like, yep, that's the bar right there. Like that's a bar.
I always liked the line in Hell of a Year, I smoke you away and then you drink till you drown. I've always thought that was the bar.
Did that fall out of you or was that crafted out of you?
No, that just, the way I write songs, I literally I say this all the time. I don't think people believe me, but, I just play guitar until I sing a melody that I think is melody's numero uno for me. And once I have a melody, then I just literally just start spitting things out and try to freestyle over the melody and just sing crafty, poetic things and whatever's kind of on my mind or on my brain. So,
do you record when you're doing that so you don't miss something?
I do. Not all the time, but I've learned my lesson. So,
ever have something you're like, man, this is so good, I'm like, write it down right now, for sure I'll remember it, and then you're like,
so many times.
Oh my god, I can't remember it.
So many times. So many times. The iPhone probably saved my songwriting career.
I wonder how many Grammys for all those great ideas you would have won by now.
Well, I've actually thought about putting out like a record of just iPhone recordings. Just super raw, uncut.
Like the voice memo or like the work tape iPhone recorder?
Just the voice memos.
That would be really weird because it's mostly just you going, oh,
well, I mean, like
dog.
You once like you write the song, I'll usually like record it. Because I'll usually like send it to my brother or send it to, somebody and be like, hey, check this out. I just wrote this. It's really good.
So it's a full song then. It's
a lot
not
of times.
just you.
You just have to be very careful.
Chasing a melody.
You have to really be sure you didn't put any, of the wrong voice memos on there.
Oh, like
what else are you saying?
That could go south quick.
Hey, it's Parker. What are you wearing?
I just, I
your
like
grocery
to.
list?
I don't know. There's some, it's probably for off air, but yeah, there's some.
Hey, then don't say it. I would encourage you not to say it if it's for off air. Say it when there's not a microphone in front of you.
I got some pretty good voice memo pranks that I pull.
You have a definite, like, cool cowboy energy, but what's the least cowboy thing about you?
I don't know. I love like really fast cars.
Do you have any?
I do.
This is when you say what you have. Give me one.
I have a C8 Z06 Corvette.
Yeah, I don't really know what that is.
And it's very fast. And I've got a Hellcat red eye wide body Dodge Challenger. I had a C7 Z06 7-speed manual, but I sold it to my neighbor 2 houses down. So
did he see it and want it?
He did.
Did you get him for a little extra? Did you autograph the trunk? And
I sold it to him for $10,000 more than I bought it, and it was 2016. So
I'm talking about.
Wow.
Is that the neighbor with a good lawn?
No, that's not the guy with the good lawn. Is not my neighbor. He lives on the other side of the area. So he's become a good buddy now, though.
Are you a good lawn guy though now, where you notice and respect a good lawn?
I don't have as much time to go to my ranch now, and so I've gotten super into my grass, man. I'm like the good lawn guy, Mr. Brian Katowski, who has incredible grass and is helping me get my grass to where his grass is. He was like, "Man, you're just a pair of New Balances away from really being a real dad." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "I'm going to stick with the Nikes
for now."
For now,
you're stranded at Buc-ee's. You got $20. What do you get?
I'm probably going to get the they have like this little orange chicken burrito thing I used to eat all the time. When we toured in the van back in the day, like. I mean, we would like do our taxes at the end of the year sometimes, and like these people would call us and they'd be like, "What is Buc-ee's? Why are y'all spending thousands of dollars at Buc-ee's a year?" We've stopped there so much, and I would always it's like an orange chicken burrito thing. I don't even know what it's called, but I would hammer one every time.
Why would you self-title this album that came out today when it is not your first album?
I didn't know that was the rule for that.
I wouldn't say rule. I would just say it's common. Yeah.
Common. I don't know. Frank Liddell, the producer, was the first one to bring it up, and then Sarah Dodd, who did the artwork for the record, she was the one. She wanted to she was like, "What if you just called it Parker?" And I was like, "I like that, but I don't know if that's a good idea." But the real reason is I just didn't. I didn't have like a great album title I was in love with. I didn't have like a cool concept or anything. I had a few of them. Had some notes I'd made, but and this record's just super. I don't know. I feel like I finally figured it out after all these years.
What's that mean?
This is the album I always wondered if I was good enough to make. I put out my first record, The Limestone Kid, 2015, and it just blew up for us in Texas and kind of the red dirt scene. And so we were selling a bunch of tickets right away, and it's just been so good since it very first started. And I didn't want to just be the Limestone Kid forever. I wanted to go out, and I wanted to come to Nashville and sign a record deal. I wanted to do the big business side of it and be an entertainer and just see what that world was like. And I did it, and then I kind of got bored with it, and I was like, man, I'm going to go back to just, kind of the old way of doing things like I started. And, this is a super personal record. It's super raw, and we really just hit record and recorded the songs and didn't do anything really special. And it just felt like a great time to kind of just have it be the real me.
There's a song, if I'm going to pick one, just to kind of highlight, that I liked, and I think I really like the song, but also really like the writers, because I know the writers, but it's "Hope That I'm Enough" with Matt Jenkins and Jesse Alexander. Mm-hmm. You also wrote the song. Will you give a little story about this one?
So, I was sitting on the couch at the house. Our dog Ruger, he's a chocolate lab. He was laying on the couch with my wife Hallie Ray, and I was just playing guitar, kind of messing around, and I heard her say, "Ruger, I can feel you breathing on me." It was hot dog breath, on her neck, and so I just started singing, "I Can Feel You Breathing," and I wrote those first two verses and that kind of chorus hook thing, just right there, like instantly. And then Matt and Jesse were at the house probably a few weeks later, and I played it for him. I said, "Hey, we should finish this." And I hate co-writing, so I would rather just be like, "Hey, just help me finish this," instead of sit around for hours trying to come up with a song. I really don't like doing that. So, it's Hallie Ray's like as good as God can make a woman. I mean, she's just so unbelievably pure, and a very, very great person to write songs about. So, and she's always asking me, she's like, "Are you ever going to write songs about love going right and it being happy?" And I'm like, I don't know about being happy. But there's actually a couple songs on this record that are good love songs, I think.
I can let you tell me what this is. I want to do one more song that you did write by yourself. It was Permanent Headphones. Okay, go ahead.
Why that one, man? I wrote that song when I was 15, and I wasn't going to cut it on the record. I really wasn't even thinking about it. And Eric Massey, the engineer, and Frank Liddell, the producer, had heard me kind of playing around. I was just messing around playing guitar, and they heard me singing it, and they were like, what in the world is that? And I was like, man, I wrote that when I was 15. I cut it when I was 20 years old. I cut a 4-song EP in Austin, my very first ever recorded anything, and it never really had any life. No one ever really knew about those 4 songs or that EP or anything. And they asked me to cut it, and I just said no and no and no, and I just didn't want to go back there. I wrote that song in a Jack in the Box parking lot when I was 15 years old, and that was the first song I ever wrote that my older brother was like, yeah, you're a songwriter. And so it's always been a pretty special song to me. I just never thought that it would live again. I kind of thought it was dead and gone, and I never thought it would have another life, and then here it is on my 5th studio album.
How do you feel hearing it?
It's the only song on the record I didn't listen to when I was listening to mixes and stuff. I just told him, I said, do whatever you want with it. I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to hear it. Super emotional when I listened to it. And I finally, one day it was kind of like Christmas time, deer season. I was driving to the ranch, and I put it on, and I got like teary-eyed. Like, I get teary-eyed right now talking about it. It's crazy. That song like hits me so hard. Because I wanted to be a songwriter so bad then, and I was always trying to write songs that my older brother would think were, good and a real, all the stuff I was writing at that age was pretty elementary and just not very complete. And I remember sitting in my room at the house, and he had come home from college, and I played it for him, and he was like, wow. And getting that reaction from him, I was like, okay, that's what a good song is. Those are the kind of songs I need to write. So when we cut it, and then, I would listen to the entire record, listen to the mixes, and going back and forth, except for that one. And now I think it turned out great. I think we did the song justice.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just think about anything that I did at 15. I would listen to it with a different ear, because I know how... Well, you could do a lot of things, how immature I was as a person, how immature I was as a writer, immature. But it also was fundamental to everything else that's on the record, which you've said is the record that you always wanted to try to make. So it's kind of the beginning of all of the rest of it.
And it's really cool. There's a song on the record called New York is on Fire, and I wrote it in the studio the second day we were there. Me and Adam, who played some acoustic guitar on the record, we sat on the floor and wrote New York is on Fire. And so my newest song and my oldest song are back-to-back on the record. It's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. What kind of kid were you? You just say 15. What kind of kid were you in school?
I should have been really good at school. I just didn't apply myself. I was pretty lazy. My parents split when I was really young. My dad lived in California for a while, so I was living with my mom, and I was the youngest, so my brother and sister were in college when I was in high school. And, I was just, I don't know, I was kind of a punk.
Troublemaker or just not listener?
No, I was a pretty good listener. I never really got in trouble. I just wasn't incredibly ambitious. I was just kind of floating through. And, have you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused? Pink?
Pink Floyd. Randall Pink Floyd.
Yes, that, he's the quarterback, and he doesn't want to sign the contract, and he just wants to chill and kick it all the time. That was me.
So was that frustrating for those around you that saw your potential?
I don't really think anybody saw any potential.
Really?
I don't think so, no. You think about it. When a 15, 16-year-old kid tells you he's not going to go to college because he's going to be a country singer, everybody kind of rolls their eyes.
Okay.
That's funny.
And so, but I just knew, I was like, that was probably the first fire that was lit in my belly to go be really ambitious and be like, all right, I'm going to prove everybody wrong.
You talk about your brother kind of giving you the blessing of, hey, I think you got something in you. Who was an artist that did that for you later on? That you looked up to? Randy
Rogers, for sure, from the Randy Rogers Band. I was a huge fan of him as a kid. My mom loved his record, Roller Coaster. And I put out the Limestone Kid, and then probably a year later, we were playing with him in Corpus Christi. And, we were first to 4. And he was headlining that night, sold out, big show, like 10,000 people. And after the show, he was like, man, I'd love to manage you. And, he's like, I think you got it. you could go be a star and all the stuff. And he was really one of the first artists that was like kind of took me under his wing, and he was my manager for 2-3 years.
While he was also being Randy Rogers, the performer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to say this too, just because, in case he's listening. I know I said this to you privately. Your dad's awesome and your dad's jacked.
Thank you. He's going to love that.
He is.
Like jacked, like his
Ripped.
body.
Ripped.
He is ripped.
You don't want to mess with that dude. Except he has a kind face and he's very kind. But before you can see his kindness, you see his massive arms and shoulders, and you go, "Don't want to mess with that dude." Yeah.
He's going to love
Yeah.
that you talked about his arms on
And
the
shoulders.
Bobby Bone show.
And shoulders.
And shoulders.
Yes, sir.
Shoulders are part of the arms, right?
Yeah, I didn't really
Yeah.
spend much time looking at the legs. I don't know if he does leg day or
He
not.
has incredible calves.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, yep.
Okay.
So
I didn't
Really good
notice that
athlete.
either.
yeah, I just wanted to say, Parker's dad, if you're listening, goals.
Yeah, he's going to love that way too much, more than he should.
The album's out today. It is called Parker McCollum. What Kind of Man is the song right now that's killing it. Always love seeing you. Are you in town, because you don't live here anymore, are you in town, like when you get here, is it nonstop for a couple days, just hitting everything?
It's hammer time. Man.
Yeah.
Do it all.
Do you wake up early and go to bed late?
Sometimes. I'm kind of out of my groove right now. We've been off the road, so I've been kind of out of my regular routine. So I'm kind of just floating through the wind. And we're about to go crazy. Like new album, new tour, the whole deal. It's about to get so wild. So it's just like staring me in the face. So
What's going to be so wild?
just the amount of stuff that we will be doing.
Any
Between-
explosions on stage?
No explosions. We're going a lot more simple production for this tour. No pyro, no smoke. Just kind of cutting it all back and making sure it's about the songs.
You know, we had Tim McGraw in, and we were talking about paper umbrellas. That's cool. Not really a
Thank you.
question, but that's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I've loved Tim McGraw my whole life. I mean, so many good songs, so many good country songs, and so to get to do a song with him was cool.
Parker, good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the record. Congratulations. And I can say this. I'm looking. Here's the thing, though. Like your tour's got all these things like this sold out, this sold out, sold out. The tour doesn't need help, but I will say that you can go to parkermccollum.com. His 2025 tour is January, February, March, April, May, June 20. Oh, this June 26th. I did do my fingers because I don't know the months.
That's awesome.
Is it? Like, he looked at me like he would a 4-year-old. Like, I'm a pretty intelligent guy,
Way
except
to-
for when it comes to months on my fingers. I still
Way
use
to
my
go,
fingers.
Bobby.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
like the one thing I've got on you.
Yeah, I can't. I don't
Like
know
name
what.
the number, I'll tell you the month.
Yeah.
I don't need my fingers.
Dang, Flex. Why
I
you gotta
know.
do that on me right now?
I know.
All the way up until the end of the year. Go see Parker live. Incredible live performer. ParkerMcCollum.com. Parker, good to see you. There he is. Parker McCollum, everybody.
Thanks,
New album
guys.
out today.
Appreciate y'all.
It's a